It was the dog days of August in Highlands. It was hot, and it seemed like it had rained forever. The long afternoons had taken their toll on the members of the Highlands Music Camp. They had gathered with their Sunday school teacher, Miss Catherine Taylor, that Sunday. Their show had been lightninged out. Their accompanist had a burn on her toes. One of the volunteers, Miss Samantha, had a burn up her leg from the lightning. Everybody was discouraged. They thought that the play would never happen, but it did. However, these kids were here for the summer, and it was long, and it was hot, and it was most of all boring. They were not aware of the magic that was all around them.
Boy, this is the longest summer ever. There's nothing to do.
It's so boring. Just a bunch of old people talking about golf and real estate.
That's it. Boring.
Vacation Bible School is the last time there was any fun around here.
I don't see how people live in this town. My phone doesn't even work half of the time.
Forget about trying to download something.
And the wireless situation is ridiculous. It's impossible to play a game here. I feel so sorry for the kids who have to live in this place.
Oh, you poor children. You don't know anything except what you see on the screens of your phones. I grew up here. If you open your eyes, you'll see there's a whole world waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, but that was when you were a kid. What would you do for fun?
Yeah, I saw Little House on the Prairie on TV. It was so boring.
I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Miss Catherine, but you probably thought spinning yarn and turning butter was fun.
Well, things were different then, but we didn't have trouble finding things to do. Sure, we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. We had plenty to eat. We had clothes. We worked hard and we played hard. And we had parents who loved us and brothers and sisters who loved us.
So what would you do to have a good time?
Yeah, what's something we could do in town to make up for no phone?
Well, we'd play in the woods. Look around you. There are forests that hold 1,000,000 adventures. I know you could have fun playing in the woods.
My mom says there are bears out there.
And poison ivy.
And bees. I'm allergic to bees.
I saw a snake on my grandma's porch. Ew!
And I heard some guy in Australia got killed by an anteater and it sucked out his eyeballs.
Ew!
Last year, my little sister picked up a worm and got worm gunk all over her hands.
Ew!
And one time a slug got on my bike and left slime all over the handlebars.
Ew!
I'm not going into the woods. It's too scary.
Well, I don't think you really have to be terrified of snakes and worms around here. Certainly not anteaters. But I suppose you're right. There is plenty of danger in the world. You just can't let it ruin your life. When I was little, it was dangerous just being born.
What do you mean, Miss Catherine?
Well, when I was born, I almost didn't make it. There were no hospitals in this part of the world. I was born early. I only weighed 2 pounds and 2 ounces. My daddy said I looked like a skinned squirrel. The doctor said if I made it through the night, I could have a few drops of milk. I guess I did. I'm here today, but life was hard. So hard. So many children died when they were babies. So many women died when they were giving birth. I guess heaven for us was a place where there's peace, where there's rest. That's why we sang about it so much. Life was hard. We found it comforting to think that Jesus gives us a safe place. A lot of the songs we sing tell us that, reminding us of our blessings even when things are bad. Sure, our lives were hard, but we just didn't know it. We found good times wherever we could. Like I said, we'd play outdoors, we'd go to hymn sings.
Hymn sings? What's a hymn sing?
And why don't they call it a hearsing? Is that like a church thing?
No, if it's a church thing, it's probably boring.
Doesn't sound very fun to me.
Yes, hymn sings were a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. People would gather at the church and we'd pick out our favorite hymns and everyone would join in.
Wait. What's fun about that?
Well, it was fun having everyone together singing old hymns and
Boy, that doesn't sound very fun to me.
And most people don't sing that good. You should hear my dad.
My mom sings when she's taking me and my friends to school in the car. It's so embarrassing. Bringing in the sheets, we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheets.
this is not a song about laundry. It's a song about a harvest, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves.
Yeah, well, then what's the big deal with the cross-eyed bear?
What? A cross-eyed bear?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Its name was Gladly.
Oh, poor bear. It probably doesn't know how to find food for itself.
Now, wait a minute. The title of that song is Gladly the Cross-Eyed Bear. That doesn't really have anything to do with bears.
I've heard this song. It's where Jesus knocks Pilate out.
What? Jesus never knocked anyone out.
Sure he did. We sing it every Sunday in church. He suffered on Pontius Pilate. There's a song we sing in church. It makes me think of this scary movie I saw about a monster with 1,000 eyes and 1,000 tongues, and people were afraid to go to sleep because it would get them in their sleep and turn them into zombies. Yeah, I saw that one. That was a pretty scary monster. It had 4,000 tongues and...
Ew, gross! 4,000 tongues!
No, that one doesn't really have anything to do with monsters. And by the way, it's Oh for 1,000 Tongues to Sing. That song was about how happy Charles Wesley was when he learned how much Jesus loved him.
Charles Wesley? Isn't he that cute blonde guy in One Direction?
Oh, Charlie!
I don't think so. Let's try singing that and see if you can discover the fun we used to have. Even without monsters, it's a pretty good hymn.
I guess that's okay, but I bet we can make it more fun, can't we, kids?
Yeah!
Hit it, Miss Sherry.
Hey, look, there's something under this rock. It's some sort of note. It says when you sing that song, you can feel the joy that Charles Wesley felt when he wrote it. Most of the songs we sing in church today tell a story about the people who wrote them.
Wait. That's weird. How can a rock tell a story?
Well, when you think about it, The stories that we tell one another, the songs we sing, they're like stones. They're all around us, they're under our feet, and they're listening to everything we say. Of course they remember our stories. The people from long ago, they were just like us, and they felt the same things we feel today. Maybe that's what the stones are trying to tell us.
That's weird. It's almost like magic. Like the stones are speaking to us. It says you can tell Charles Wesley was happy when he wrote "Oh, for 1,000 tongues," but sometimes hymns can fool you. Do you know the song "What a Friend We Have in Jesus"?
Yeah, we learned that one in Vacation Bible School.
It always makes me happy when we sing it.
I guess whoever wrote it was a pretty cheerful person.
Not really, no. It says here, Joseph Scriven obviously felt close to Jesus since he wrote, "What a friend we have in Jesus." But his wasn't the happy life. The day before he was to be married, his fiancée drowned in a lake. He was so sad that he moved from his home in Ireland to start a new life in Canada. He fell in love again, only to have his true love die again, just before they could be married. Even with all that, he didn't lose his faith. He wrote "What a Friend We Have in Jesus" for his mother when she was very sick. Even the end of his life was sad. He got very ill with fever, got delirious, staggered outdoors, and drowned in a little creek.
That's an awful story. That poor man.
Since you two like that monster with 1,000 tongues, here's something interesting about Joseph Scriven. When he died, they buried him alongside his second fiancée so that his feet were opposite those of hers. That way, when they were resurrected at the end of time, they'd rise facing one another. It's kind of a love story, but a weird one.
A love story? Blech.
That sounds like something from a zombie movie.
That story would be way cooler if it had zombies at the end.
Kids, these aren't stories from a monster movie, you know. This was a man who found happiness in the darkest of times.
That song makes me feel like Jesus is right beside me.
Even though that was a sad story about that guy, you could tell he was friends with Jesus.
We learned a version of this song in music camp. It's called Yesu Kwetu ni Rafiki from Kenya. And let's sing it for Miss Catherine and see if she likes it.
What a privilege to carry
like the thought that kids all over the world call Jesus their friend, even without a cell phone.
I don't know. I can't stop thinking about that man's sad life.
And zombies. I really like zombies.
Brady, just so you know, when we talk about the resurrection, we're not talking about zombies.
I wonder if they have a happier song for kids.
Well, why don't we see if the Stones have an answer for this?
Hey, here's another note. This is all pretty weird, isn't it? Kind of like a new app like Pokemon Go. Anyway, it says Onward Christian Soldiers.
Onward, Christian soldiers?
I always thought that was about wars and battles and stuff.
Yeah, I saw this movie about some kung fu monks. They were holy and they fought these bad guys with some sweet kung fu moves. I always think of them when I hear that song.
So it's a song about Kung Fu soldiers?
No, not really. I don't think Kung Fu was mentioned anywhere in the hymn. It's about children, though.
It says it was written by a man named Sabine Baringold. He wrote the song for his Sunday school class when they had to walk to a neighboring village. He wanted something for his Sunday school class to sing at their march along.
When we go on a trip, my mom puts in some Disney CDs so we can sing along.
We watch DVDs. It usually takes 4 Scooby-Doos to get to Highlands.
Well, this was before CDs and DVDs. It was even before vans and buses.
Yeah, it says that's how he came up with Onward Christian Soldiers. It's really not about war. It's about marching together whenever you need encouragement.
Hey, listen to this. If you like weird stuff, here's something you won't find in the hymn books. It says Sabine adopted a pet bat that lived with him for many years. He taught Sunday school, and that bat would ride around on his shoulder.
That's so cool. I wish my teacher had a bat on her shoulder.
My teacher has a pet hamster. That's pretty lame next to a bat.
This says the guy had
Scoliosis. He had a bent spine and a hump on his back.
That's so cool.
That is so cool. I saw this Frankenstein movie where there was this hunchback and he walked like this.
You children watch too many movies. Let's sing Onward Christian Soldiers and see if you can feel the excitement that those Sunday school kids from 200 years ago must have felt.
Onward Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus songs remind me that God's always with us, even in a boring place like Highlands.
Yeah, maybe it isn't so boring up here. Maybe we just need to pay more attention.
There's your adventure. There's your fun. Share the light with the world. I promise you'll never be bored.
Miss Catherine, maybe one of these stones have your story.
Well, maybe so. We'll see. We'll see. Just listen.
Miss Catherine's right. Go sit down. You two still watch way too many movies.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Little light of mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.